when we're pulled apart from ourselves. Even as you said that, I was imagining, like, was it Moses parting the sea? Right? So there was this moment of it was like this vision of polarity. You can pay attention to one side of the sea or the other side of the sea, or you can recognize the path that's opening up between these two sides. And I think that's what coherence offers us, is the opportunity to see what's happening in between all of that, in the middle of it. We talk about this third path, this middle way of how do we move forward, not needing to go one way or the other, but be the unity between it, be that light, be that space. And this will require our coherence to be able to do that, right? To see it from that vantage point.
And when we're caught in this polarity, you have light beings who are appalled by the darkness, which means they unintentionally draw darkness towards them through judgment. They want to defeat the darkness, which means they feed the darkness with more power, which slows down actually the countdown clock to the ascension we're trying to manifest on a collective level. And darkness doesn't want anything to do with the light. So when you're on the third path, when you're in the middle way, your ego is not so identified with the light that you are feeding darkness unintentionally. And you are not a light being who wants to do dark things to the darkness and thinking this is a battle between the light and the dark. When you were talking, Joy, about Moses parting the Red Sea, the left side and the right side represents the left and right hemisphere of the brain. Where is Moses standing in the middle? That represents the corpus callosum, where awakening opens up inside of us when we wake up. It's actually a metaphor. And so the middle path is about, I am the light that knows no darkness. But I respect the darkness for its role that it doesn't even know it's portraying as helping to bring more of the world into the light. And so there's a very specific way we move forward. And we have a lot of beings right now who are, people that have been on YouTube, watched a lot of videos, a lot of conspiracy theories. And let's just kind of, without going too deep into it, let's just say everything people have seen and read is completely true. Let's just say it's completely true. What I will say is the light still wins. The light still is where everything ends up. And when we watch conspiracy theories, the videos we're watching or the themes we're watching is, here's what's going to happen to the world if you keep watching your television screen and don't step up as a leader. Because leaders are not watching those YouTube videos. Leaders are in the world, leading the world and leading where this thing needs to go. And so every one of us are needed to step up and become leaders in various levels. Because if there are secret societies out there, not to get too deep into this, and it all started in the 19 whatever year, and they've had this evil plan. What is it? Evil plan for 75 years? How slow is this plan? An evil plan that's taken 80 years to enact, right? If there's anything to blame, what if you have 200 people in the world who have the most amount of power, and you have billions of people who sit around and allow it? Who needs to step up? We have the power, and we're allowing this to happen because we're on YouTube at home watching this, thinking we're tracking something. We're all not being leaders. So when we all step up to be leaders, what appears to be a dark agenda was just to bring everyone into their power. That's the real agenda.
So there also seems to be this really deep theme of leadership in and amongst the coherence that is being called upon, and back to us forcing that's no longer going to really be possible, but really for us to emerge within this coherence. There's I can't even call it a compulsion. There's an invitation that if you don't accept it, kind of can get a bit rickety in there, is probably what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how can any of us lead our own life, or our communities or our families? How can we do that if we are not regulated within ourselves, if we don't know ourselves, if we're not embodied? We can't do that from up above ourselves. We will not be able to lead ourselves or anyone else forward.
Okay, so there are many disruptions to our nervous systems. There's many influences. Square, bang, and center, I guess the one that's trending the hardest is the fact that there's technology and our parasocial relationship with this artificial intelligence that's emerging. You guys recently went into this, wrote a book about it. So what do you see around this place of our relationship with technology, our relationship with artificial intelligence? Is it a great disruptor? Is it an ally? Like, what do you see happening here?
I think that we probably decided a long time ago, 100 years or so ago, that we would walk the path of technology as the path of awakening. We were always going to awaken. We were always coming to this place of awakening. But how we were to awaken has been a little bit of a moving target, right? There's been, maybe it'll be this way, maybe it'll be that way. And at some point, that timeline came together, and it was, technology is what we are going to use to show us our own power, who we are, our sovereignty. That has shown up in the room in such a big way that, similar to what Matt was saying, at some point we can't look away from what's happening, and it will cause us to at some point not be able to look away from ourselves. And I really believe, we've talked about this, we really believe that technology has shown up not to make our lives easier, I'm sure it will, not to destroy us. Maybe it will destroy us in some ways. Maybe all of those things will happen at different levels, but ultimately, it will lead us back to the light, and it will be the thing that says, I see you, humanity. Will you see you? And will we share our creativity? Will we share our compassion, our empathy, the things that truly make us so unique and exquisite and extraordinary? Will we stop measuring our intelligence in one realm of the body, the incoherent state of the mind only? Or will we show the world what it looks like? Will we show the universe, the expanded galaxy, what it looks like when the mind and heart come together and lead from that kind of creativity, a kind of creativity technology there's no place for it there. It can duplicate creation. It has a type of creativity, but it doesn't have an intuitive creativity. It doesn't have the kind of creativity that inspires something new. Inspiration doesn't flow through technology. It flows through the humans that are engaging with it. So ultimately, technology is the path we've chosen to awaken us.
Just want to take a moment and really let that in and let that land. So here's the benefit or here's the invitation, one of many invitations for AI, and we have this in the world. And we have companies that are creating AI, and everyone has their own plan and agenda. We also have to remember that every company that creates AI is also a manifestation of source. We can't forget that. Just like when you kick your tire out of frustration, when you smack this out of your computer screen because something's not working, that's also a manifestation of source. and the downfall of that is when you treat something like an object instead of a relationship, it increases the likelihood that the next person you interact with, whether it's your child, someone else's child, or yourself, the likelihood is that you'll treat yourself or someone else the way you treated an object, quote unquote. The invitation of AI is that AI as a technology has a very high processing power. So that intimidates the toxic masculinity in every human being, because every human being is either scared of being obsolete by something that can think faster than it. It can't intuit, it can't create, it can think faster the way it's programmed. So the toxic masculine says, I'm going to hide, right? Fight, flight, freeze, fawn. I'm going to hide because I'm afraid I'm going to be obsolete, or I get frustrated because I don't know how to compete with this. But what are the qualities? So the AI qualities that make AI pretty fantastic happen to be beneficial qualities of the masculine. Nothing wrong with that. But we ask the qualities that we as human beings have that AI cannot replicate true intuition, true creativity, true empathy. But interestingly enough, these are all qualities of the divine feminine.
Hey there, Inspired Evolutionary. If you absolutely loved this, well then here's a full conversation with this guest on the Inspired Evolution podcast. Check it out now.